All right. So as Ashley's talking about, we talked about this. As for the person that Trump's running against, pretty big meeting at the White House that wrapped up just a little while ago. Live look right now, Eagle Pass, Texas, as it's the center of the fight as it relates to what to do along the southern border. There was a big meeting, the Big Four, two top Democrats, two top Republicans, President Biden, about like 15 or so other members of Congress. The House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke after that meeting. Listen.
The president was very forthright. I told the president what I have been saying for many months, and that is that we must have change at the border, substantive policy change.
Okay, so that's the Speaker of the House. There's a $100 billion-ish package that they're trying to put together. We're hearing two totally different things today. The White House says this is mainly about Ukraine, the $60 billion aid to Ukraine. Mike Johnson says this is about border, Ashley.
Well, absolutely. I mean, he said from the beginning, which should be no surprise, that we have to take care of our homeland first. And unless we have a border deal, which he is only going to accept H.R. 2, which is not going to ever pass the Senate. So you're kind of coming at negotiations with this funding and with the border policy. That's never, I just don't think it happens. However, I do think it was interesting is that Governor Abbott begged his senators today to get a deal done. So he wants to get on the border. He does not want this to continue to be a political issue, which we talked about yesterday.
He wants a deal. President Biden wants a deal, does he not?
And that's what they're saying, is this is the opportunity to actually get a deal. Now, the White House,
you're shaking your head.
Well,
Why?
And Mick, the White House today in the same briefing said, you know, if Republicans wanted to bring up border security, they should have stayed over Christmas break. They dismissed. So I'm sure you have comments on that.
It is, but my point is that is Washington. So you tell me, is that the type of language that surrounds getting a major deal done on a major piece of legislation? No, it's not. Look, these guys can't even agree on funding for the EPA next week. They can't agree on funding for Veterans Affairs. Do we really? It's human nature. You have to learn to walk before you can run. How do we expect them to come to an agreement on the really, really big deals when they can't agree on the small stuff?
So Chuck Schumer was sort of bullish after this. Here was the top Democrat in the Senate after leaving that meeting.
The president himself said over and over again that he is willing to move forward on border. And so we said we have to do both. There were a couple of people in the room who said, let's do border first. We said we have to do both together.
What did you just say during that soundbite?
That's campaign language.
Okay. Ashley?
No, I agree. And I actually think that, what does he mean by border? I mean, he's never going to agree with the White House has their straight line in regards to the asylum and more money for asylum seekers. That is never, ever, ever, ever going to pass on the House Republican side.
Can we get these guys some adult winter coats, please? The puffers, you're the majority leader of the United States Senate. Please Please get a real Chesterfield grown-up adult coat. Number one. Number two.
Coming from a guy with 4 initials on his sleeve, by the way. So.
Number two.
In a boat.
Not ashamed. Number two. It would be fantastic for Joe Biden to get a deal done on this. It would be a stellar accomplishment. He needs border security. This is a terrible issue for Democrats. It would be magnificent for him to be able to go into the general election saying, we are addressing the issues at the border. It would be a huge win.
Which is exactly why.
To get a deal. Don't get ahead of me, Mulvaney. It would be a huge win for him to fund Ukraine. It would be a huge win to get funding for Israel. It would be a huge win for Biden to avoid a government shutdown. And that is exactly why the House Republicans are going to kill everything that comes down the pike, and they will sit with ashes in their mouth, and they will go through shutdown after shutdown after shutdown.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.